Alright guys, what's up? So, this right here is the siege spell video. I'm going to tell you what siege spell does the most damage and how to fully optimize that spell to put out the best output per resource. It's going to be a little hard to explain certain things, so just trust me on some of it. Watch the stream that I have uploaded. The link will be in the description down below, where I test each and every single spell, find the best spell, and fully optimize it. If you want to see that, down below, a couple important timestamps. But for now, we've got a lot to get into and not a lot of time to get into it. So, let's talk about these bad boys right here. During that same stream, and that'll be probably the first timestamp I'll have down below, you will see that these actually did less than gems. Now, after doing some tests outside of stream and like experimenting with some things, reloading my entire world and crafting a brand new spell fixed the issue, which is the equivalent to your official server crashing and then crafting a whole new spell. These did the damage that they were supposed to. These did a better output, and we'll get all into that, and I'll show you like what the better output is. You know, you can do some comparisons for yourself, watch my stream. I might do a couple bit more tests in another video, like the Raider Stone video, the video that I have to leave my PlayStation open and running Citadel for a good 8 hours just to do. Obviously, that's not going to be talked about in this video, but we'll get to that soon. For now, we're going to blood cloud our way over here and just get right into crafting the spell, alright? So, what you want for this spell is the Arcane AoE. It does the most damage. Again, give me a second to explain why. And you want 2 of these and 3 of these. Now, you throw this down here, and boom. There's your siege spell. Now, this, one spell of this does more than one spell of this. However, these spells have durability. And this durability will run out over time. So, you only get a certain number of casts you can do to a single foundation before your spell breaks and you have to craft a new one. The amount of potions you use and how much they cost is very, very not worth doing it that way. Alright? You need 50 cultist leaves, which, by the way, if you don't know, there's a sprinkler glitch where after the sprinkler fills up a crop plot with water, it no longer registers that that crop plot even exists. You have to break the sprinkler and put a new one down each time you want to farm. So, it becomes quite the tedious process to really get a lot of these resources. I really hope that bug gets fixed. And then you also have Dark Plasma, which is a rare drop from Undead. You get it better from Abominations, but just know it's a bit hard to get. So, use these potions at your own risk. You can substitute them with gems. And also know that stacking at 5 is just really not worth it, whether you're using potions or gems. You want that damage boost that Obsidian gives, because it just increases the spell damage well enough to fully optimize the resource. Not to mention that Obsidian is a lot easier to get than, say, you know, another 15 fairy dust and another, like, you know, you can do the math. Alright? To fully describe, you know, how much each thing does, this is a 5 stack. This is the damage a 5 stack of potions did. This right here is 2 casts of the spell I just used. So for 4 potions, you will end up doing about 50 more per every 2 spell. It's really hard to explain. But basically, you will be getting a much better damage output. So, 1 of a 5 stack, the equivalent of just way less resources. Alright, I can't explain it better. If you have any questions about it, like I said, comments down below. Next thing I have to point out. All these resources take the same amount of damage. They just have more health. So, This spell will chunk marble the same way it would chunk wood. The difference is your wood will go way faster than the marble will go. The only things that have damage multipliers are doors and windows. I think doors are a 1.5 and windows are 2 times. I don't know, but they also generally have less health. See, windows have less health than, you say, your bog standard wall. So keep that in mind when you're building your base and when you're raiding too. You want to aim at those windows. You want to do that damage. Look at that. Alright. That is a lot. Now we're going to go back here and we're going to get the full test on. So that is 4,120. Right? Boom. We are about to cross the 100 mark. There it goes. Bye. We did about 125, 130, something like that. That is a good amount of damage. Now, let's count a couple other things. If you say apply a buff, which this is the Bloodlust buff, this is Fire and Self, it gives you a 20% damage increase and a 40% health increase, and makes that much of a difference. Yeah. Now, let's say if you made a couple elixirs of amnesia. You reset all your points, and then you decided to put them all into damage purely for raiding. Think you can see how overpowered this is about to be. Double that with a buff, which monolith buffs have an effect as well, so you can stack even more buffs onto your spell damage. And now all of a sudden, you're draining through bases. Now I know what you're thinking. Alright, well that's the fully optimized damage weapon. That's best possible roll. Well, what if you use just a general roll for, say, the level 50 sword, Blade of Simon's Soul? Most expensive thing is blue gold, and all you need is iron and gold to make it. Super cheap weapon to get. You can farm out a bunch of them, whatever you want to do. Well, if we put the same exact spell on this weapon, same exact buffs and everything, the AoE, boom. Let me come over here. We are still chunking through this health. I've done the math in my stream, and I think the difference between the blade and the Phoenix blade is like a 20 damage difference once you apply all the buffs. That is such a minuscule amount that I can't even begin to tell you how, like, it really doesn't matter. As long as you have good buffs applied, and even without them, you aren't doing that much of a difference. This spell is that overpowered, as is this setup. And now I also want to point out that, surprisingly, if we add gems to this spell, and we change it up completely using gems, so we'll lose about 2% of siege damage. We are still chunking through the health easily. With this spell, you can viably bring down a wall with just one spell and maybe even do a nice good chunk to a throne. You probably need to craft this spell like 2 or 3 times, but resource-wise, it is fully optimal, and I think the loss in damage compared to the potions to the gems is like another 20% damage. So if you go full buffs in and use the max damage sword with full buffs and the lowest damage weapon, well, like, you know, the level 50 weapon, not the lowest damage, I should say, you will be doing, what, 40, 50 less damage per spell? That is not that bad. This spell is just that good. Now, as I was saying, another reason you don't want windows on your base is because somebody can cast a spell through your window and just completely fuck up your base from the inside. They see your throne, bye-bye throne. They'll just take it out from outside open up the door casually, walk in and claim the base is theirs, go through the whole base and take everything. Couple quick tips before I end the video. Don't use small doors. Use large doors. If you just look at marble, these have 6,700. These have 10,000. 2 of these is 13,000 health. 2 of these is 20,000. If they break this door, it breaks the wall. If they break this door, it breaks 4 walls. Doesn't make any difference whatsoever because they're going to get in either way. The only difference it makes is it's a larger hole, but that really doesn't... If you didn't understand it based off what I've said so far, just hit me up in the comments. Like, I don't know how to explain that this does more. Also, another thing, do not do this, alright? Why can't I place these? It says that... Whatever. I have my settings so that I can infinite craft things, but I guess that's just not an option right now. Don't place regular walkways. If you're going to do internal doors, do regular doors, which I would suggest doing internal doors and honeycombing your base, so you just have everything sectioned off into little rooms about this size. This is the most room you will really need to have a couple smithies, a couple crafting stations. Because if you do the walkways, then the moment somebody gets through this first wall, they're now just casually walking through your whole base. Nothing stopping them. They can do whatever they want. Find your throne. Take it out. Take over your whole base. Boom, you're done for. One other thing to mention. Floors take the same amount of damage as roofs. Foundations, these scaffoldings, have a lot of health, so don't even try and take those out. Just go for a wall, look for a window, look for a door, or look for a wall that isn't fully finished, like this one, and go in from there. Because the difference in health is what really makes the difference in rating. Alright? I think that covers everything you need to know about siege spells. If I skimped over anything, if I missed anything, hit me up. And if you want to see the full test that I did, watch the stream that's linked down below. Alright guys, thanks for watching, have a good one.